Hi friends, I'm Beth and I'm back with another episode of How I'm Doing It. Today I'm going to show you the first installment of a short series that I have of our trip to Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. My family was able to go during my kids' fall break. I took the week off of work. 4 of my 5 children were able to go with me and we had a very memorable time. It was really amazing to us. We got to see this fantastic waterfall. And believe me when I say that the word waterfall really doesn't do it justice. It is breathtaking. It is like no other waterfall in the world. It is truly magnificent. The volume of water that goes over the side of this cliff is just out of this world. There's no words to appropriately describe it, and even photos and video really don't do it justice until you're there in person to take it all in, but we will try. One of the things that is wonderful about this, besides getting to take off and have fun family time, is that October is a unique time of year in Canada. So for Niagara Falls, it's actually the off season, and I learned this trick the first time that I went to Niagara Falls about 20 years ago. Basically, the high season, the busy season, is when the kids are out of school over summer break. So thinking June, July, August, September. October, school's back in session for the Canadian kids, and the temperatures are starting to level off a bit. It's not cold yet. Don't worry if you don't like the cold. It's not cold. It's just not as hot. Maybe once in a while you get a little bit of a chilly breeze, but it's not cold. Believe me, I hate the cold. I wouldn't go anywhere where it's terribly cold. So there's no snow on the ground yet, but yet it's the off season, which means 35-40% off of your hotel rooms, off of the regular retail rates from the high season. So you can think of it as basically getting about a third off. And if you're taking a 3-day vacation, which is pretty standard for the Niagara Falls area, then you can consider it's almost like paying for 2 days and getting one free compared to the rates during the high season. Now, I'm just speaking in generalities. I'm sure if you searched long enough on the internet, you could find an exception to the rule. But in general, and I searched a lot for the hotel that we would stay in, 35-40% is about average. So right there, you're saving a small fortune. And then on top of that, you really don't have any crowds because the Canadian kids, bless their hearts, are in school. So we have the opposite vacation times. So we had a little bit of the run of the place on most days. The exception being Canadian Thanksgiving. Now, I did not plan it this way for Canadian Thanksgiving, but when I was making my reservations, it came to my attention that we would be there over Canadian Thanksgiving. And Canadian friends, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it is designated to be the second Monday in October each year. And it is a national holiday. So most of the places close, government buildings and institutions, schools, and that type of thing. The tourist areas and restaurants generally do stay open to serve the people who are on holiday, so to speak. So that particular day was a bit crowded. By and large, though, the very next day, the crowds dissipated. People went back to work, kids went back to school. The Niagara Falls resident that I spoke with said the Canadian kids don't have the same type of schedule that we have in America, and so therefore their kids were in school. They don't have a designated per se fall break like we do, which is a week off. And the spring break is different for them too. They're really not doing it quite the same way that we are. So it was kind of nice because we were able to go and not feel that crowded tendency. And anyone who knows me knows I will do crowds, but I don't like to do crowds. I prefer to go when it's not as crowded. So it was nice. We didn't have the crowds. We didn't have to wait in line for a long time for a lot of things. And I'll give you lots of tips on those types of things as they come up in these different installments. I felt like it was really too much to try to cram in together into one video. I didn't want to make it overwhelmingly long. So we're going to break it up a little bit. I hope you enjoy watching this. Like I said, it really was a perfect time of year. Not too hot, and not cold. I don't like the cold. We're from the South. We are not used to the cold. We don't like it really cold. And it wasn't. There were times my little girl insisted on walking around in her flip-flops. And there were times that I took off my hoodie because I was too hot walking around. And I had short sleeves and I was totally fine. Okay, so it was just really like the perfect zone in between seasons. Plus it was discounted, plus it wasn't crowded, plus we did have one sort of crowded, more crowded day of the Canadian Thanksgiving. So we got that cultural aspect, our first Canadian Thanksgiving. Really all around a great trip. So let's get right into it. Oh, one more thing. When you see pictures or video that are coming from inside the vehicle, do not worry. Those were not taken by the driver. My oldest child that went on this trip with me is old enough, a full-grown adult, to split the driving. So whenever one of us was sitting in the driver's side, that person was totally focused on the road, safety first, follow the rules of the road. The other person in the passenger side was free to take video and pictures. So that's what you're saying. No worries. So when we start out, I do want to make a note that on the way out of town, we stopped at my middle schooler's cross-country championships. This was the end of the season. He did fantastic. We're so proud of him. He had been working hard all season. Each one of these meets that he had was 2 miles long. He shaved off 10% on the final championship meet day. Maybe it was just the adrenaline and everything and the atmosphere of being the championship meet. Whatever it was, he put his all into it, and we were really proud of him. So I'm going to give you footage of that. Then the next thing we did is we went to Drury in Columbus, Ohio, Polaris, and we'll show you some of that. For those who don't know, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but Drury Inn is fantastic, especially for large families. I mean, regular sized families, great, but those of us with larger than average families, it's great. They include the price of breakfast and a hot dinner every night in the purchase price. So, it's a great deal. And they also have really good room assignments, or the way that the rooms are situated, or room layouts, plenty of bedding available for everyone, plenty of sleeping space. And then the rooms can be, basically you can choose rooms that are kind of like suites that have walls in between, so you can separate your girls and your boys, or things like that. How you separate the adults from the kids, or whatever you need to do with your family, you can set up the bedding situation appropriately without having to get multiple rooms. I didn't have to get 2 rooms. I got a big room, and it was divided up appropriately so I could fit all of my family in one room and have one space. It was great.
Let's go, Isaiah. Keep it up. Reel him in.
Like if that was in the front, isn't it class?
Oh, look, this group is all together in a clump.
I didn't expect them to get here this
Valley
fast.
crew.
Looking good, strong. Be scared for them. I don't think I could make it that fast.
Joseph!
Woo, Joseph!
Going, buddy.
Woo, buddy! Get it, Joseph!
Keep going.
Woo! Here comes Joseph. Woo! Woo, Joseph! Woo!
18 minutes.
Okay, we just finished up with Joseph's cross-country meet. He did a new personal best time today. He shaved a full 10% off his previous personal best. We are so proud of him. He did a fantastic job and worked hard all season. So he got a Kona Ice treat as a reward, and now we are on our way to Columbus, Ohio. We'll stay overnight at the Drury Inn, and then after that, tomorrow, we go to Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. It's a road trip. Here comes downtown Columbus, Ohio. We're gonna spend the night here, break our trip to Niagara Falls in half, catch a little rest and relaxation, and then head out in the morning for Niagara Falls.